Everyone, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master. Good morning. We are here in another wonderful morning of coffee and MTG. Day 18. Can you believe it? We've been doing this for 18 days. We're at day 18 of coffee and MTG with Nikachu. We're here to have some really good conversations. Let's talk magic. We're all quarantined. Let's have some fun together. And of course, I am drinking my coffee with none other than the Nescafe Gold Dark Roast. Not sponsored yet, but you know, I got to give a good word out to Nescafe if they are going to be interested in sponsoring the channel. But remember, you have like 2 more weeks left, and then I'm not claiming where my where I drink my coffee. Good morning, Johan. Good morning, Mikey J. Cash Cat for Life is here. He made it on time today. You're just on time and just in time. What's up, everyone? Good morning, Endgame. Yes, what is everyone drinking today? He's buying. So if you're willing to buy tons of coffee, then you better be very close to a Starbucks or Tim Hortons or something. Whoa, what's different today? Yes, we have improved the stream. We've been upgrading, and I am so excited about what we have in store for this channel and for these hangouts, because it's going to take a completely different direction for the stream. It's going to be really exciting, and I hope you all like where it's going to be going. Neil says, good morning, Nikachu and everybody. Neil says, good morning to everybody. Wonderful. Oh, this is fancy, says Gavin Stewart. Yo, Lantern, good morning. Good morning, Lassie. Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Chris Yedinak. This audio is a bit funky, but the layout is nice. Really? How is the audio different? I mean, the audio might be different because now I am going through my my microphone instead of my, what's it called? My phone. I now have a dedicated microphone doing this. I don't know if I can show anybody. How different is the audio for everybody? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it normal? You might not hear any background noise because I am using RTX voice, because and it will eliminate all background noise, everything. It seems like it's echoing a bit, sort of distorted. Well, that's not good. It sounds good over here. Gavin, maybe it has some. So Gavin says, sounds like it's echoing a bit. Maybe this has something to do with you. Orange audio bad. Not bad at all, just slightly different. Because this is a new thing, and I just got to make sure. Like, I would prefer to have perfect audio. I don't want to have anything like, no, echoing is no good. Audio is better. Your voice is louder and more clear. So some people say it's better. Some people say not bad, just slightly different. Could be, yeah, I'm using crappy headphones. Okay, so maybe it's the headphone thing. I'd love to hear everybody's feedback. Is the audio better than it is before? This is a new thing. This is totally new. We are moving the stream in a completely different direction. I have a computer now, so I don't need to rely on my damn phone to do this. I had such a hacked version of like a show before, just placing my phone on some sort of, you have no idea what I was doing in order to make the show work. But now we've got a real computer to work. So let me know if the audio is good. Dylan says it's good to go. Josie says hello from isolation. Hello, Josie. Johan also says, I agree, it's a bit of an echo. Lassie says it's fine. So we have some people that say the audio is great. Some people say it's a bit weird. Lord Magica says it sounds fine. Oh, the background noise is from my fan/AC. So some people have issues. Some people do not. Maybe it has something to do with the internet connection. Kyoka66. Good morning, Nikachu. I haven't missed a day. Hashtag hype. Standard might be fixed soon. Yes. So if anyone doesn't know, there is going to be a BNR announcement, a banning and restricted announcement next Monday. And the 2 formats that are going to be affected are standard and historic. So they're going to do some changes in those 2 formats. But in addition to that, Wizards of the Coast said that they're going to address companions. Now, they didn't say what that means, what the addressing means. Does that mean like they're going to ban something? Are they going to adjust the rules? But they said they are going to address the companion. So if anyone is sort of sick of standard, then it looks like there's going to be a fix for it very, very soon. That's awesome. Sounds like it's auto-tuned circa 2009. So some people say the audio is definitely slightly distorted, a little bit metallic. So some people are hearing like some sort of poor audio, or the audio is a wee bit desynced. All right, so I don't know what the issue is with that. I have to figure it out. We either do this or we do, what's it called? I'm either going to do it like this, or I have to do it with like OBS. But we won't get the cool graphics. I'm just curious, if the audio is out of sync, where are you from? I'm very curious. What do you think the audio is, and also where in the world are you watching this from? Peli Pilaja says, seriously, the phone was better and audio godly compared to this. So something is horribly wrong here. Chad Duchat says, it's better, but your audio needs to be adjusted. It sounds slightly metallic. Josie thinks it sounds good. Aaron says, it reminds me again that I should play the decks I love and not chase the meta. Does Modern really award expertise? Absolutely. It definitely rewards expertise. I mean, basically, anyone who has like 1 million trophies on the trophy leaderboard basically just plays one deck. That's basically like the people who have like a ton of trophies, they're specialized in like 1 or 2 decks. And the people who play a lot of things, they do not have nearly as many trophies. Hot Kitchen says audio is generally great. I'm from Austria. Greetings. Audio seems kind of robotish compared to your phone. So Gavin's from Winnipeg, Manitoba. So if Gavin has some problem with the audio, so like I'm noticing the sync issue from New York. Lass E is from Germany. That I know. I just joined YouTube. Audio sounds great. Where else? What could be the audio issue? Like we tested this last night and there wasn't any particular problems, but now there appears to be like some sort of issue. Vince Yatel says, let's make tests, try very close to the mic and very far. Oh, okay. What happens if I'm very close to the mic? Or what if I turn my microphone off? Or not my microphone off. What's my mic? Camera resolution, camera, audio. What if we switch to this? Just curious. Hello? Hello. Okay, how about this? Is there a change in audio? Like, is there any difference? To the people who had problems before, is there now is there an issue? Just record and give a listen later. The show must go on. Oh, we're doing the show. We're definitely going to do the show one way or another. Good afternoon, Stefan Varvoranu. Good afternoon. So Chad Duchat seems better. So actually it got better. Interesting. RTX voice is screwing it over. Okay, so we're going to do away with the RTX voice thing. So I see what the problem was. RTX voice was trying to convert it, and for some reason, some people, whatever. I disabled that. We're just going normal stuff. It seems to be getting warm in here. It's getting hot in here. The stream, is it failing? Is it working? I can be relaxed now. Lassie asks, do you need mods? I do not need mods. Thank you for asking for the millionth time. Okay, so the audio is better now, says Niels. It's beautiful. All right, so we can go on with the show. So here's how it's going to be. This is going to be a really exciting show. So for the first, I would say half an hour, 45 minutes, I will answer questions from the crowd if you have any questions. And how it's going to be is that on the second half of the show, for the next 30 minutes after that, we're going to have something really special and unique. For anybody who has a microphone or camera available, you will be able to come on the show with me to ask your questions. So if anyone is really interested in that, there will be more details when we get into the second half of the show. So I hope that this is going to be a really exciting, unique thing within the MTG community. And I hope you're all going to like it. I think it's going to happen today. It's going to happen today. Now, before we get too far into the show, I want to remind everyone that we are moving on Monday. By Monday, we are moving to twitch.com/Nikachu MTG. We are moving in that direction. We are going to go there. So you won't find me on YouTube anymore. It's still going to be the same time as any other time, Coffee and MTG, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time at the moment. This time might change in the future, but for now, it's going to be 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. But remember, you can't find me on Twitch right now for some reason. I'm not searchable, so you literally have to write Twitch. Oh, it's not even twitch.com, it's twitch.tv. Oh, I'm stupid. I am silly. Sorry, twitch.tv. Let's not make that mistake. Twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. So yeah, make sure you send a follow there, because by Monday, that's where we're going. That's where we're going. And it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Chazzy Brown says, when is Twitch starting? Monday. We are moving from YouTube to Twitch on Monday so that we can reach affiliate status and then partnership and then all the good stuff that Twitch has to offer. Oh, with that exciting news, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Cash Cat for Life says, wow, wish I was home. I want to be on the show. If you have a phone, you can still be on the show. You can still be on the show. It will work with your phone. I cannot host this show on a phone, but you can be on the show on a phone. Now, the only rules will be your internet connection has to be like fine, like it can't be bad, and your audio can't be bad. Like I don't want to hear the sound of a jackhammer in the background or something like that, or I'm gonna just kindly skip you. Like, no offense, but for the sake of the quality of the show, I would have to just move on. So your internet connection has to be good. Your audio quality has to be like somewhere a little bit below decent, but not bad. It can't reach the territory of bad. And I don't think it should be too much of a problem. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you, Pelagia. By Monday, starting hand size 6 plus the companion. That is the prediction. That is the prediction a lot of people are making, that they're going to go with the Jim Davis companion rule adjustment, where you draw a random 6-card hand. If you declare a companion, you're going to draw a random 6-card hand. Some people think it's going to be draw a random 7-card hand and then replace one of the cards with your companion. I actually don't think that is a good idea. I think that actually is still OP. So you basically get to draw 7 cards. You still get a huge advantage over your opponent, because you get to draw basically 8 cards and scry one and dump one away. Whereas with what Pelly is suggesting here, you start with a companion, draw a random 6 cards. You're not allowed to manipulate your hand. So I think that's a huge difference, a gigantic difference between starting hand of 6 versus starting hand of 7, putting one of the cards on the bottom. Oh, thank you very much, Super Chat. Lantern, thank you very much. I'm bummed I can't stay, but I got to head to work. All right, Lantern, don't worry. We're doing this every weekday, so you'll be back. And these recordings, of course, still going to be on YouTube. Even when we move to Twitch, the VODs are going to move to YouTube. I think there might be some rules about when I can put them on. Maybe only when I get to partner, but that's just how it's going to be. Cash Cat for Life says, I'm at Walmart shopping with headphones. LOL. Stefan Varvernu Stephens asks, so no more YouTube anymore, or will you upload recorded live streams? You know what? It seems I have answered questions before I even find the question. Yeah, we are. I'm going to upload everything from Twitch to YouTube. You won't miss a thing. It might be delayed by a day or two, but it will basically be chained one day after another after that. So if anyone loves finding the content, it will be eternalized on YouTube one day at a time. We're definitely not losing anything. Just like Lord Magicus has put, www.twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. That is definitely where we're going, because a lot of people say, I've searched on Twitch, couldn't find the other day a lot of Nikachu names on Twitch. That's why you got to go directly in your browser, or just click the link here, twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. All right, so let's start. Let's see if we can start answering some questions. Hi to Volk Lagoo. Hi, Nikachu. Will we be able to watch all your Twitch lives afterwards? Yes, on YouTube, because Twitch isn't going to save them for very long. They're like saved for a few days and then goodbye. Twitch doesn't like to hold on to those live streams for very, very long. So those are not going to exist forever, but they're all going to exist on YouTube. So remember, if you want your questions answered, 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions. Although I will make an exception here. Chad Duchette, Nikachu, any advice for mana fixing Simic Merfolk mana base for an 80 card Urian Shell in Historic? I'm almost to Diamond playing Umori Merfolk, but now I need counter spells like Spell Pierce for Teferi. Really? Because the thing about Teferi, the way I prefer to beat Teferi is just play with more creatures. Make sure you have at least 2 and have flash creatures. And then if they play Teferi, you can like flash in a 3rd one if necessary. And they can't bounce anything, you'll definitely kill the Teferi. Or are you which Teferi are you talking about? Unless you're talking about the big Teferi. If you're talking about Teferi here, Time Reveler, I think that's very easy to beat. Teferi Hero of Dominaria is harder. But if you want to talk about Simic mana base for an 80 card Urian Shell, you add, I think, about 7 more lands. Like, that's just what I'm blindly believing. If you really want to improve the deck, you just add 7 more lands. And I don't think it's going to be too hard to add those lands, because we just got... You just start with the same mana base that we started with before in my old list, and then you can add, 4... Because you add 7 lands, so that's easy. Just add 4... What's the card now that was just printed? Ancient Ziggurat, that's a great card for mana fixing. 2 islands, 1 forest, or maybe 3 islands, somewhere around there. I would just add 7 lands, and I would hope that would work out. Yeah, that should be good. Mikey J says, will Wizards of the Coast say screw it and just make the companion rule even worse? Probably, probably not. I mean, temporarily they might make it worse. They might give us some news that we don't want to hear. But I think for the most part, they're going to address the companion rule. They understand. Hey, focus, damn it, focus, you camera. They're gonna change the companion rule for the better. I think a lot of people are very upset. I think I don't know if the numbers really reflect that. Like the last time I saw a Modern League had almost 1,000 people in it. That was relatively healthy numbers given the diversity of formats that we have right now. And modern challenges are still pretty well attended. But still, there's so much backlash on the companions, not to mention they are very disruptive to all the other formats. And they probably are seeing it now in heavily in standard. So they're gonna change something for the better to accommodate everyone. Hot Kitchen says, me as just a modern player, do you think that the companions get banned soon or something like that? They get over the complete they get over the complete format. They destroyed it. It's in my opinion, and I play Urian in my Erosa deck. So we'll see what happens on Monday. So on Monday, they're going to address the companions, which means maybe this rule is going to be a blanket rule for all formats. Maybe they're going to address, how much more time we're going to have with them until they're gone. Maybe they're going to address, that they will change the rules in a given amount of time, because we know that there's going to be 2 big changes in standard and historic, but they said they're going to address companions. So maybe they ban them, or maybe they are just going to say we're going to have a rule change. I think we're going to, whatever they address for companions is going to affect modern, and I think they're going to I think they're going to change something. I can't tell for sure if it's going to be in the form of a banning or not. Lassie says, do you think Channel Fireball would sponsor me? You gotta. I know you have the cool avatar, Channel Fireball. For the longest time, I thought you were like related to Channel Fireball or something. But well, you gotta reach out. You gotta reach out. You know what? Nest Cafe. I reached out to them. Here, we'll put it here. Now, I reached out to Nest Cafe, and they reached back to me. They're interested in working with me. They are very excited for my enthusiasm for Nest Cafe Gold Dark Roast instant coffee. So just reach out to them and see what happens. Never hurts to ask. It never hurts to ask. All right, where are we here? Vince Yetel says, "Did you see Rosewater address the topic of product price? It raised is raise in price of cardboard products an issue? So should standard and master products be cheap and only premium cards for a premium?" Okay, so first off, I think it is healthy for Wizards of the Coast to make really expensive products for the whales. If people want to spend more money on like premium products, then I think that is a good thing for the financial success of Wizards of the Coast. However, I do understand the perspective that they are alienating the other market. You know, when they say that this product is not for you, and then Wizards of the Coast asks, how do we make these expensive products? Like, how do we do this? How do we make expensive products for people who want to pay a lot of money and please the people who will buy something affordable? Well, maybe there is a straight answer to that. Just make the products that are affordable. Okay, you make you make money masters. Now make affordable masters. Like, we used to have those masters products like once every 2 years. It's been 2 years. Where's the master's product for your broad general audience? Where's the master's product that's full of fetch lands and reprints and helps bring the price of these cards down? It's very simple. Make the product for them. You can make them both at the same time. You make affordable masters and money masters at the same time, so that both audiences, both consumers, can be happy at the same time. But when you make money masters just by itself, well, and you don't give affordable masters to anybody else, now you're just saying, well, screw you. We're not going to give you affordable masters anymore. Affordable masters not going to happen. If you want masters product, it's only money masters. So I think Wizards, I'm totally for the expensive products that like most people will be jealous of because they can't afford it. But I am not for that if it replaces the Masters products that made the Masters set so popular in the first place, that made Modern Masters 1 a success, Modern Masters 2 a success, and so on, and all the other Masters sets a huge success, that helped like people, the price range was not out of reach, and it did bring the price of cards down. It did bring the price of cards down. But it looked like what they're doing is they're replacing those affordable sets with the money masters, and that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. I am super against that. Yes, we need, if they want to accommodate the price of the fetch land and at least fix it to some degree. I mean, I understand they're not going to bring it all the way down to like when Khans of Tarkir came out and had fetch lands in that standard set, that fetch lands collapsed from like $40-$50 to like $8, $10. They collapsed. However, so I don't see that coming down, but at least, reprint it to some degree in a master set, sure, make it rare or whatever, and let that price at least sink a little bit. Because if you're just going to make money master sets, it's going to be very hard to do that. It's going to be very hard to do that. No, money master is no good. Greek Sis G, appear with a frappe in front of the camera, Nikachu. Greetings from Greece. No, I have got a hot coffee today. It was actually pretty cold this morning in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Gavin Stewart can concur with me, but yeah. So I've got drinking a nice hot tea this morning. If it gets hot outside, I'll move to the frappe, just like you gave me the instructions. So Greek Sis says, you make your coffee. Make your coffee, and then after that, just put enough hot water that it turns into a liquid. Next, add ice cubes and cold water, and then boom, you've got yourself a frappe coffee. Sounds great. I love the idea. But I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. daphnedews, with the rising prices of everything, what are your thoughts on proxies in eternal formats? Perfect example would be the duels. I think they are largely unnecessary. I don't even think that there is a really big demand to be playing things like Legacy and Vintage. So I don't see the point of making proxies. And I think, well, here's the thing. I think it's a very slippery slope for Wizards of the Coast and for the entire secondary market to say that proxies are like officially okay. I know a lot of people use proxies right now, but if it somehow got really conditioned into the entire community that like, hey, why buy this really expensive card when I can just use this, when I can use a proxy, and then it just becomes part of the culture. Like right now, like proxies, there's like two different cultures. There's people who use proxies because they literally just can't afford this stuff. But if you can't afford this stuff, people do like buying the real original card. But if you start teaching people from the ground up, hey, proxies are the way to go, then they may not ever graduate into the point where they might want the real original card. So my opinion is that proxies probably should not exist for official play. It should just be for unsanctioned fun play. That's just my opinion. Only because like I don't think it's necessary that Legacy and Vintage exist as competitive formats, or at least officially by Wizards of the Coast. I think there is also something special about the cards rising in price. Like they're not super mandatory for any other formats. I mean, maybe for competitive EDH or whatever, but there will be something special about the Vintage and Legacy tournaments that are very rarely run, but when they are run, there's like still thousands of players. And Legacy decks will be considered very desirable because they're so damn expensive. Like what? Black Lotus wouldn't be anything if it wasn't like $1 billion, basically. Oury Ezerzer, Mishra's bauble for Legacy Merfolk. I don't think it's necessary. So Legacy Merfolk, I think, is much better if you're playing the Thassa's Oracle Paradigm Shift version. I don't think Mishra's bauble helps the deck enough. Yeah, it can cycle. Maybe it'll dig to the cards a little bit better, but overall, I don't think it's necessary. Hold on, just out of curiosity. Hold on, I want to set up my... I don't have my iPad set up today because I didn't think I needed it now that I've got my new setup. But just in case, let me just get set up on my iPad here. Bear with me for 1 second. Bear with me for 1 second because I'm not entirely sure if I see everything that I need to see. Okay, good. I think I see everything that I need to see. Beautiful. Hesperos Mariposa, do you like cubes? I do. I do like cubes. I think cubing is fun. I think it's cool. That's all I have to say about that. And if I could, I would make tribal cube. And I would make sure that the tribes have enough overlap with all each other. So like there is like human wizards, human soldiers, and that can overlap with like merfolk wizards, merfolk soldiers. And then there's like fairy wizards. And then, I don't know, fairy dragon. I don't know how easy it is to splash dragon. But then there's like warriors and elf warriors and elf whatever. So I would try to make sure it was like a tribal themed set. You know, there's unclaimed territory, cavern of souls, highly desirable cards to draft, and I would make sure that there's enough overlap so that you could make many different types of tribes within the card pool. But I've never built it before. It's all in my mind. It's all in my mind. Okay, hold on. So where did I leave off? Where did I leave off here? Okay, I think I found off where I left off. Isn't this cool? Isn't this really cool that we now have this? Hesperos Mariposa also asks, what about creating a 2 of modern tournament for fun? Too hard to organize. I mean, if anyone else really is inspired by the idea I had, then you know they can go for it. I mean, as a YouTuber, I'm just not that interested in actually carrying out this idea. Monster CC asks, is there a companion that goes into historic merfolk? Of course, there's Oury. Oury is completely free. In fact, the latest merfolk list that I've published and posted, which you can more or less find on my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/NikachuMTG. It's pinned to the top. It just needs ancient Ziggurat in the list, and it's basically the same thing. It's all creatures. Benthic Biomancer, Kamena Speaker, Silvergill Adept Trickster, Brazen Borrower, Kamena Tyrant of Vraska, Mara Regery, Merfolk Mistbinder, Frilled Mystic, all creatures. Oury, what it says is, can I start? Hold on, let's see. Okay, let's see if we can get something going here. Because there are other things we can do here, people. There's other things that we can do on this stream. Oury. Beautiful. All right. Let me share. That work? Hey, what's going on here? I feel like something's not working. Or do I not have access to this right now? Oh, I need to add my share screen. Sorry. Okay, so I'm learning. I'm learning. Let's see. Beautiful. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we got, whoops. Here's Oury. Beautiful, beautiful creature. Companion. So what happens is it's a 4/5 creature, and as it enters the battlefield, you choose a card type, and spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. So now we've got, see, now I can share my screen. I can do a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I think this is so cool. This is a whole new thing. So there is a companion for Merfolk in Historic, and this is it. It's Oury. And Oury fits perfectly because it's free. So it just costs double green and 2 generic. Easy, very easy for the deck. And it's just a random creature. And then let me tell you, this card is perfect against those red-green aggro decks, against those burn decks. And I don't know what the new menace is in Historic. I know that the format's changed quite a bit since Historic Anthologies 3. But this is just a random 4/5 creature that you can pull out of your ass. And like I said, spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. I mean, it's basically like a pseudo Merfolk because you're going to get a discount on your Silver Gillidaps. You're going to get a discount on your Kamena, Tyrant of Eraskas. You're going to get a discount on, I'm missing one creature, Merfolk when you cast it. So Oury is a great roadblock and actually has synergy with the deck. And no cost to playing it, because the companion thing is each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. Easy. We just play with creatures. The whole deck is 100% creatures. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. It's a great question. Let's see. All right. Stefan Varvranu. So you never need to buy your coffee anymore? Only if I get sponsored. So like definitely the first thing I'm going to ask for from Nescafe is, I want unlimited coffee. You keep that coffee coming. I have a big family. My brother drinks a lot of coffee. When he comes over, he drinks at least 2 cups of coffee. Always. Always 2 cups of coffee. Kyle Lynch, what's your favorite Merfolk creature ever printed? Master of Waves, because it just like disgustingly, when it wins, it's hilarious. It is this. You know what? If you've never seen what Master of Waves has done before, you would think that the card is just complete pure jank. Complete pure jank. But so like when you're up against it and you see what it does and you have no removal spell for it, I mean, it's disastrous. It like puts this in giant army on the battlefield. There's a lot of situations where my opponent thinks, all right, it's in the bag. I have too many creatures. There's like no one card that they can top deck to stabilize. And then all of a sudden I play Master of Waves, and not only do I stabilize, I'm also just threatening to win the game next turn. And then they're like, oh shit, what has just happened here? So that's why I love the Master of Waves. Used to be more invincible to more removal, and ever since, as every year has gone by, they've printed more and more removal for Master of Waves, but still is like my absolutely favorite. It's my absolutely favorite card. My favorite Merfolk. Yanshevik says, hey, Money Masters, that should be the title of the next Master set. Absolutely. Lassie asks, is this the new computer setup? Yes, it is. This is what we can do when I have a computer and I'm not like working on my damn cell phone. Eduardo says, Nikachu, good evening. Very nice video about the price of cards in Modern. I really like your suggestions. You're welcome. Hoonster Meow, are you excited about Jumpstart? I am super interested in the concept, but there is not enough info. And that's why I am not interested. I have no idea what this is about. I got nothing. I know nothing about Jumpstart. I know it's a set that's coming out. I think it's going to affect Pioneer and Historic, but I know nothing about it, so whatever. Mikey J said, should Battle of Wits be printed into Historic to see if the client can handle it? Sure, why not? I think the client can handle it. I don't think it's too much. I mean, it's a million cards, but I think it'll be okay. I think it will be okay. Random VZ, what are your thoughts on the recent announcement regarding the companions? I think it's very interesting that Wizards of the Coast is going to acknowledge it so early. I think it's pretty, like, if they're not going to actually ban something, for them to acknowledge it before they ban it is, I think, an act of goodwill on Wizards of the Coast part. So I'm very curious to know what they're going to say, or if they're going to make any immediate adjustments to the card. Danjo, how do you beat Dredge? How much should you mull for hate such sideboard cards? Is Dredge impossible to beat game one always? I would say Dredge is pretty damn hard to beat game one. Like, it is basically, well, here's the problem with game one. You don't know you're up against Dredge. That's the problem. If you knew you were up against Dredge, you would mulligan a little bit aggressively. A good card in the starting hand is Force of Negation. Like, if they go, I've won many games where they like mulligan to 5. They find they have a Shriekhorn in hand. I force negate it. Then they're basically lost. I just goldfish to a victory because I slowed them down enough that they can't do anything. And I do encourage you to force negate whatever the hell turn one play they have, because that will slow them down by an entire turn, and it's worth it in that matchup. Games. So, like, usually the problem is game one, you don't have that much hate, and you're in the blind against Dredge. Like, you have no idea you're up against Dredge, and then, no, I mean, you find out, but it's too late. Now, games 2 and 3, I would say mulligan hands that you know cannot race or cannot interact with Dredge. So if I have, like, I need some sort of interaction. I need some sort of graveyard hate. I will mulligan at least a 6, or at least some sort of graveyard hate. Force negation. It has to be force negation, not deprive. Deprive is clunky because you need to be tapping out every turn in order to race Dredge. Other good cards are, what's it called? Is it Ashiok? Yeah, Ashiok is also a good card against Dredge, preventing, like, you know, exiling the graveyard over and over again. So that's a good card. So I would definitely mulligan a little bit, at least to 6, and then if it's like still like way too clunky, then go even further down. But game one is like pretty bad. And frankly, I think the only way to really beat Dredge right now, especially for Merfolk, is to have the hate cards in the sideboard. Like, you're either going to make a decision, I'm beating Dredge or I'm not. And if you're deciding to beat Dredge, then you have 5 to 6 hate cards in the sideboard for Dredge. Hopefully they have overlap versus other decks. Like, if you play Ashiok, it's good against Titan decks as well. If you play Relic, it's good against Death Shadow, Jund. You know, you get the idea. But you need to have the hate cards. And then if you decide to like 3 hate cards isn't really going to do it against Dredge. I think right now I would decide not to play any hate cards because I think the Lurrus decks are doing a pretty good job of destroying Dredge, just because, you know, they can loop Tormod's Crypt over and over again. So I would right now be very light on hate and just hope to dodge the deck. But if you want to beat it, you have to do it. You have to do it with sideboard cards. When I expect it, I'm packing the sideboard cards. You better believe it. 5 to 6 something. 4 isn't enough. Greeks just asked, what would the card you would design in order to help Merfolk in Pioneer and Modern look like, but not be bannable? Champion of the Parish Merfolk. Merfolk creature gets +1/+1 counter whenever a Merfolk enters the battlefield. That is the card that would do it. Lord Magicus reminds everyone, if you find this valuable, if you find this fun, if you're making this part of your daily routine, don't forget to give a like button. It's like a high five. Let her know that this stream is awesome, because this stream is awesome. We are doing awesome stuff here. We're going to have a lot of fun going into the future. Like, look what we're doing here. 2020, this really, my computer breaking down was a blessing in disguise, because it created this show, which is so well received and so loved by everyone. All right, so are we going to, I think this is the part, so I think this is the part of the show we're going to bring people on live. All right, so this is, how do I do that? How am I going to bring people on live? Aha, I see. So I'm going to put a link. I'm going to put a link in in the chat, if you are available to talk some Magic, you let me know. I'll bring you on. Remember, so this is the first time we're ever doing this. This is going to be very interesting because once in a while we're definitely going to get some sort of troll or something in the chat, but like no big deal, no big deal. This should be good. Yes, absolutely. This is going to be good. All right. So remember, you better have like decent internet connection. You have to have camera. I'm not putting you on if you don't have a camera, and you need what's it called? You need a microphone. Here we go. There's no going back here, people. It's the first of its kind. Boom. So all you need to do is follow the link, and then when you do, let them know what microphone and camera you want to use, and you can ask me a question on the show. It should be very, very interesting for anyone who wants to come on. This is the Gavin Stewart says this is the future. The future is now. The future is now. This is going to be very, very interesting. I can't wait to see how this show is going to evolve. Are pants required to be on the video? Well, make sure that nothing is like what's it called? You're not like naked or anything like that. All right. Let's see. Okay, we've got like that. All right. We have Ab Hinav.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, I can't hear. I don't know if I can hear. Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay, now say something.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Okay, so everyone could hear you. I just couldn't hear. I can hear you now. How are you doing?
I'm good.
How do I pronounce your name? Abhinav?
Yes, that's fine.
Beautiful. How are you doing?
I'm playing Magic right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm playing Arena, not Modern.
Wait, Arena's fine. Historic is awesome. I don't know if you're playing Historic or not.
No. So on Historic, I play Mono Blue Tempo.
Oh, that's a great deck too. For anyone who's a lover of Mono Blue Tempo, which is, I mean, basically the other tempo deck that exists in Historic. Let us all know. Yes, Nikachu live coaching streams. So, Abhinav, you have any questions? How can I help you?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so in Modern or in Standard, I say there's a very big issue of wish cards, correct? Like you have Khan, which can get you any card from your sideboard.
Right. They're the wish cards.
Yeah. So my question is, shouldn't there be some hate about that? For example, if you take Grafdigger's Cage. Grafdigger's Cage is mostly nothing but a hate against like collected company or graveyard shenanigans. So similarly, if we have some kind of artifact which doesn't allow for wish cards to come, what do you think?
I think this is a great idea. I think it is design space that Wizards has maybe not explored enough, just because there's not enough wish cards in the Magic pool. But this is a great idea. Like, this is something that they might tack onto a Planeswalker one day, or an enchantment, or an artifact. Something like Damping Sphere, where it's going to have an effect. Plus, it says people cannot grab cards from their sideboard. Or whatever. So I think this is a great idea. I think this is a fantastic idea, and maybe eventually, as we see cards like Karn the Great Creator get more and more presence in the game, and maybe we need this card right now for the companions, because if you play this card, you can't play your companion from the sideboard.
Yes, that's true. And there was one more question. So
sure, go for it.
In GS, and I met one of my friends. And he used to play Merfolk, and then he left playing Merfolk. I'm like, why did you left? And he's like, I went to I think he went to some PTQ or something, and he played blue-red Merfolk. I'm like, okay. And then he said that I always lost to humans, because humans is nothing but Merfolk, which is juiced up. I'm like, okay. So what do you think? Are humans better than Merfolk?
One-on-one, humans are better than Merfolk. They do very similar things, but they have two huge advantages over Merfolk. The first one is mana. Mana is very important. They have a similar mana base. They have 19 lands, we have 20 lands, they have 4 Ether Vial, we have 4 Ether Vial, but they have 4 Noble Hierarch. So they can get on the board way faster, and they can also put more creatures in play at a time, which is a big deal in these sort of tempo matchups. The main reason I usually lose to humans is because they can play 2 things at once. I'm only playing 1 thing at once. And even if I have 3 extra cards than them, it doesn't even matter because they just their board presence is so much better than mine. And I think that just the general cards are more powerful. Like Reflector Mage is not situational, way better than Harbinger of the Tides. And also they have Champion of the Parish. I don't have Champion of the Parish. Where's my Champion of the Parish? Now, where Merfolk shines is that there is a lot of decks that we can, like, one-on-one, we're disadvantaged. I need some really good hate cards to beat them.
Okay.
But where Merfolk shines is, I think we do a lot better against attrition-based decks than they do, because we play Mutavault, we play Silvergill Adept, we can do a better grinding game than they do. And also, there is a lot of combo decks. There are certain ranges of combo decks I think we will perform better, because we actually have hard counter magic, and the best that they can do is, like, Meddling Mage and hope that it lives.
Okay.
So there's give and take between the 2 archetypes, but one-on-one, yeah, we're definitely losing to humans.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming onto the show.
Yeah.
You're my first live public guest.
Yeah, nice. Thanks.
Let's all thank Abhinav for coming on. Awesome.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye. All right. We got Josie. Josie's here with a beautiful kitty.
Hello. I was just wondering, what do you think about the Merfolk community?
The Merfolk community is devoted. That's what I think. What the greatest thing about the Merfolk community is they're very sticky to the deck, and that's a good thing. No matter what happens, whether the deck is doing well, whether the deck is doing poorly in the meta, they are sticking to the deck, and they're willing to stick it out until there are, like, new innovations made to the deck, and wait for the new types of deck lists, and make, for example, there's some sort of new advantage, some sort of new tech to help keep the deck prevalent in the metagame. Because decks that do not have a strong community, they, like, break down and fall apart. Merfolk is really, really devoted. They love their deck. They absolutely love their deck. They love the creativity too. That's another thing that's very interesting about the Merfolk community. And what helps us innovate the deck is that everyone's trying new ideas to see what's going to work. So it's a very creative community as well. What's your cat's name? I have a counter question. Which one was that?
That was Liliana Windrunner.
That was Liliana. Okay.
Yeah, she's named after the Planeswalker and Sylvanas Windrunner from World of Warcraft.
Yes,
the other one is Arya Stark.
Yes. The Josie's part of my is a loyal patron and also part of my Discord channel. We share the pictures of our pets all the time, but I can't tell. Both Liliana and what's the other one's name?
Arya Stark.
Arya Stark. They look very similar. Beautiful cats. I love those ragdoll cats. They're gorgeous.
I have a question.
No problem.
Where is Salud?
Where's Salud?
The only reason I pay for your patron.
Salud. Oh, I hear him. He's coming. Something's happening. You know, you can call Salud. Salud, come. Meow. Okay, Salud, you're going to be seen in front of thousands of people. Thousands. Salud. I don't think he was doing anything particularly special.
Maybe waiting for food.
Probably waiting for food, absolutely. You want breakfast? You have enough kibble. Here. There we go.
Well, that was my question, so...
Thank you very much for coming on, Josie. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, I've got a super chat. Beautiful super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, Beau Wuthrich. What's the price for StreamYard Premium? New donation goal to remove overlay. So I planned on paying for this service. However, I'm looking for I'm pretty sure there is this discount code that I can get from an affiliate, and I unfortunately didn't get in contact with them soon enough, but I am definitely getting rid of this damn thing. So I will pay for this thing. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Thank you for donating to help pay for getting rid of this damn thing. I believe if I get the yearly membership, it's $20 a month. If I pay for the whole thing up front, it's normally $25 a month otherwise, but I think I can get a discount code. So I'm just sucking it up for this one stream, maybe the second stream, but definitely by Monday, we're going to see it powered up by Nikachu MTG. Definitely. All right. Lord Magicus, welcome.
So I have an interesting question, I think.
Awesome.
Over the last year or so, we've seen Wizards of the Coast make, I would say, a lot of mistakes regarding the design of a lot of cards.
Yes.
And some of them might be ones where, maybe they just missed the mark slightly, or they just didn't think about something. Like you could say Oko is one of those cards where maybe they just didn't test like the middle ability as well as they should have. But
right.
I think a lot of those mistakes, though, like look at like Underworld Breach and the companion mechanic, they seem like things that anybody who's like played this game for more than like 10 minutes should probably know why those cards are going to be broken. So do you think it's concerning that like we keep seeing those kind of mistakes that like really should be like day one kind of design lessons keep showing up in these sets?
Yes, I do think so. I think I don't know where I've mentioned this before, but there have been people in R&D who were very sensitive about what cards look like in the Eternal format environments. How do they look in Modern? How do they look like in Legacy? And because there was a point where they were printing cards for Legacy, printing cards for Modern, well, I don't know if they were printing cards for Vintage. And there was one guy who said he doesn't like the idea of these cards being printed for Legacy or Modern, and also that they should be more reserved to make sure that they don't shake up those formats. They should be like docile for Standard, and you should be you're right. Something like Underworld Breach, like there's Yawgmoth's Will. We already know this card's busted. This card is just way worse. And it's when you play with this card, it's not going to do anything good. It's not going to create good gameplay. It's just going to create bad gameplay. And it's going to create busted gameplay. It doesn't create any fun scenarios, even if your opponent is playing a combo deck that's supposed to be a combo deck. Those storm decks are very irritating. So, yeah, it's a problem. They should double check this thing. It should be in their, I don't know how to put it. There should be new guidelines for designing cards. Is this card, is it obviously going to break formats like Modern and Pioneer? Like, because they can design cards so easily to be playable for Standard, but not necessarily like warp other formats. Yeah, like they can be more careful.
Okay, like those are both Fatal Push and Abrupt Decay, I think, are good examples of that, where they're good cards in Standard and they're very playable in like Modern and Legacy especially, but they don't break the format.
Yeah, they're not too aggressive, although I think they might have screwed up with Mental Misstep. That card was apparently supposed to be for Legacy, and it is reactive. Like, I prefer reactive cards to be pushed, but not proactive cards to be pushed. That was an example of a reactive card actually screwing things up big time. But it's a very good point that they should be a lot more careful. They shouldn't. There was some point where they said, especially when they had Cons of Tarkir come out, they said, we're going to ignore Modern now. We're going to ignore Modern. We're going to ignore Legacy, and we're only going to print cards for Standard. And that gave birth to Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, which were clearly Ancestral Recall. They were fair in Standard. I have nothing against them in Standard.
They're also cards you should look at them and be like, okay, well, this is, if you've played like Modern or Legacy, like graveyards fill up very, very fast. It's like you're essentially just printing Ancestral Recall. Like, why is that an okay thing to do?
It's not an okay thing to do. It was ridiculous. I guess the one advantage is that it was a common. I was thinking about, what's the difference between people being outraged about, Oko getting banned and something like Treasure Cruise getting banned. Treasure Cruise was a common. It was actually pretty easy for people to let go. And most people just built budget decks out of that thing anyway. Blue Red Delver at the time was like budget. burn was basically budget at the time. So the decks playing Treasure Cruise, at least in Modern, were not too expensive. So watching Treasure Cruise go didn't hurt. But when you're making busted cards like in the Mythic and Rare slot, those are much harder to let go because you spent a lot more money on them. With everyone who bought Okos, you know, I still got my Okos on the wall. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I have my set of pre-release foils, which I still won't give up because they're really good in Legacy, but a lot of people in Legacy want that card banned from that too.
Yeah, frustrating card. It was the perfect card. It was a perfect card for Merfolk. I have no doubt about it. But yeah, there is, now talking about the power level of cards, there's been a lot of push for a very long time, and I've definitely been on this side to push the power level of cards because there's just so much jank in this game. Like, there are just so many unplayables printed in every booster pack that are just basically like, that is a limited card and has no business in any other format ever. That is just a limited card. That is just a limited card. That can't see constructed play. So I wanted to see like at least the power level of the worst garbage raised up to a level where it can at least see some play in some deck somewhere. That's where I wanted to see the power level of Magic raised. But we still have that bulk of garbage, but they raised the power level of the top end, which ended up becoming a problem.
I think maybe a good way to go about it would be to more aggressively reprint cards from, say, like Modern in it, because then you can still have sets that have powerful cards where we know, okay, this isn't going to break Modern because it's already there. And it's also then a good way, if you reprint those kind of cards, like, okay, it keeps the price of the format down. So like less people complain about Standard, you know, having weak stuff, and you still open up value in it, which I think would be nice.
So the Wizards has sort of addressed that question. And so the question back at you is what, for example, what kind of powerful cards would you want to see reprinted?
So like Shocklands, when they put them in Ravnica, I think like that was a really good thing to do. And
okay, so like lands, yeah, I see lands. Lands totally is a thing. But other expensive cards like Snapcaster Mage, Liliana the Veil, really key format defining cards might end up being key format defining cards again. And it creates like the not exact same standard environment, but it might make a very similar standard environment like the past. And they generally want to try to avoid that. That's why when we like return to Innistrad, we don't see Liliana the Veil or Snapcaster Mage in those sets because they want to create a new environment. So there's got to be some balance of reprinting old good cards, but they don't define the format in gameplay, at least. I think Shocklands are totally fine. I think Fetchlands are also totally fine. I really don't care if Fetchlands are in Standard or not.
Well, there's also like a lot of cards, like even Tarmogoyf, for instance. You could put that in a Standard set, and it's not going to define Standard because Standard doesn't abuse the graveyard usually as much as like the older formats do. So yeah, you probably do have to be very careful about which ones you choose to do it with, but I think there's plenty of, you know, format staples you could put into a Standard set that you still get your reprints and your value and your power level from it without having to necessarily break everything.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
No, it's just concerning to me though to like keep seeing stuff like, okay, Yawgmoth's Will, like this is a card that is restricted in Vintage, and we're going to print a better version of this, and just what?
Yeah, it just got basically snap banned in Legacy, right?
It wasn't snap. It took like a little while because like and I think this is maybe another good question. Like when they decided that they were going to do this fire design, I think it came with an acknowledgement of they're going to push cards and experiment a little bit more with them. They're going to have to be more aggressive with banning. And I think now, especially during the COVID time, you think that maybe they should be going even more aggressive on that than they are right now? Because if you let like their normal thing, like, okay, during Eldrazi winter, there's like 3 months of that, but where everybody's stuck at home with only online play, and the online metagame always moves a lot faster than paper. So I think maybe because of that, is it reasonable to say maybe we shouldn't let this go on for 3 months? We should do something much faster about it and much more aggressively, just because of everything is so dependent on this faster rate of play from online.
Yeah, it's totally true. I think, well, the one issue with the COVID thing is that they have not been able to sell like any boxes, or like it was slower to roll out all this stuff, like I think by an entire 2 weeks. So like basically the metagame got more or less solved before they even got to cash in on their product. And it might look bad banning cards before people have even got their pre-ordered boxes.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that, but I think that's also kind of the cost of doing business. If you're going to aggressively design things, and you have to kind of realize that's going to eventually happen, even if it didn't happen this set. Like, at some point, that's going to happen. So,
yeah, I get it. They might have had a plan for that, but they didn't plan on the world shutting down as it did. Like that was a bit unexpected. Maybe that still is a cost that they should suck up, but. It is what it is. We just have to suffer for as much time as we suffered with Oko and all the other ones.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, thank you very much for coming onto the show.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully it's better on Monday. I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. It's all good. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's get back to some questions. I'll answer some questions for another, 15, 30 minutes. Where do I leave off? Isn't this cool? Like, isn't this really cool? I think this is awesome. This is such a unique part of the show that we've never had before. Okay, so I have... Okay. Hi, Develop Lagoo. How do you beat Tier 1 control decks on Historic with only 4 mana counterspells? Good question. So my answer is get as many creatures on the battlefield as possible. We'll say something between 2 and 3. Whatever equals at least 4 power. Keep smacking your opponent. Make sure the creatures on the battlefield are not flash creatures. When your opponent, ideally you do a lot of damage very early in the game. Then at some point your opponent is going to play a sweeper like Kaya's Wrath or something like that. Then when they do that, flash in your creatures to continue to deal damage and finish your opponent off. I have a very high win rate against them. And then there's a lot of situations, of course. And then we have flash creatures, Merfolk Trickster, Brazen Borrower. Good shape there. Then we've got, what's it called? Frilled Mystic, which can be a flash creature and also a counterspell at the same time. You may not always have this, so if you don't, you have to do that beatdown plan. And by the way, they don't always have a sweeper. And if they don't have a sweeper, I mean, you're really going to kill them. So that's my plan against the Tier 1 control decks. Here's a great question. Stefan Varvranu, do you miss your Mac that you use the Mac background in Windows? So yes, this is sort of like just a joke on... So here's I use the Mac background here. I'm doing that because I like it. I'm actually trying to simulate the Mac experience as much as possible on this Windows computer. I've got my icons relatively big and in picture sort of like image form, like folders. So I'm trying to simulate as much as possible because, like, oh my God, the Windows experience, after you go Mac, it's hard to move on to anything else, to be honest. Abhinav says, can we see Andrew on these live streams? We potentially could. Danger Dread, and if you're listening, I can definitely have you on. We're definitely going to have guests. Like, that's the thing. I can have other masters come in on this show, and we see what happens. It's going to be really exciting. I love it. Tobias Markert, what if they also added color restrictions to the companions, exactly like Commander? I think it would quell the power or Lurrus specifically without kicking him out of the party. Maybe, that's possible. I definitely think one of the aspects of a card getting banned is that it can be played in too many decks. Eldrazi Temple is a super busted card, but only one deck is allowed to play with it. Maybe 2 sometimes if Bant Eldrazi is the thing, but basically just one deck can play it. But imagine everyone could play with Eldrazi Temple. That's when it gets into banning territory. That's what happened to Oko. That's what happened to that's what's going to happen to the companions. It's very hard to ban a card if it's only played in one deck. Like Mox Opal, when it was only played in Affinity, okay, that was fine. But then came Lantern Control. Then came War Prison. Then came Hardened Scales Affinity. Then Krark Clan Ironworks. So now we have a million decks playing with Mox Opal. And then all of a sudden, it's on the radar. People are looking at a way to ban it. And then then it was in trouble. Then we've got, and then finally, Urza was the straw that breaks the camel's back. A lot of people think Mox Opal was safe, and then all of a sudden Urza made the card go banned. No. Mox Opal was not safe. This is this is the line where it gets banned. And as soon as we hit like Clan Ironworks territory, then it was already worth being banned, super hard banned. And then like it just got worse and worse over time. So it was already in banning territory and it got what it deserved. Lassias, could you bring the cats, please? They're so cute. Well, we saw one a little bit earlier. I don't want to run off and go get the cats. Okay, that's as far as I can go back in the chat. Mikey J asks, if you could design a planeswalker that works with Merfolk, what abilities would it have and what would it be named? Stipulation, it can't be Oko. I wouldn't mind like a 3-mana planeswalker that created a 2/2 Merfolk. And I don't know, there was some other, so it can have like a minus ability, create a 2/2 Merfolk, and then it has like, I don't know, plus target, maybe target Merfolk has like hexproof until your next turn or something like that. I don't know what the ultimate would be, but definitely some sort of Merfolk making machine. It's got to have some sort of bounce ability attached to it, though. It's got to have something else. 3 mana for a 2/2 creature, that's not really very impressive. And it has a static ability. All Merfolk get +1/+1. There we go. Beautiful. I figured it out. It's like a superior Mirror Regery, basically. Superior Mirror Regery. Art Gatherer. What do you think about Double Masters? I don't really have much to say about it. It's that it's very, very expensive. I think it's going to disappoint a lot of people. I like that they make alternate art. I think alternate art is really cool. As someone who likes the aesthetic on cards, I think it's really cool. It's very important. So I do like that, but I don't like that it's pissing everyone off. That's not good. And this was probably the format. They better bring, if they do not reprint fetch lands meaningfully, then there's going to be hell to pay, apparently. Vince Yettel says, Mana Leak is always better than Deprive. What are your arguments against this obviousness? Because Mana Leak, there's tons of things Mana Leak doesn't counter. Try to play against Tron when they have like 10 mana up and try to counter their Karn the Great Creator or Karn Liberated. There's a lot of matchups like against Control where you're in the long game and then they play Jace the Mind Sculptor or Teferi Hero of Dominaria when they have 10 land out. There's a lot of situations where you go. Deprive is for the long game. Mana Leak is for the short game, and Mana Leak just ruins you. In like when you're up against, say, Titan Shift, and they've got 8 mana up, then they play Scape Shift. Mana Leak, they just pay for it. So there's enough big mana decks in Modern that you get screwed by playing Mana Leak. And if you play test it, and I have in budget versions of Merfolk, it will fail you something like, I don't know, 1 every 7 times. And it's high enough that you lose matches because of it. But Deprive is not that big of a deal. The advantage to Mana Leak, what I like, is that you can cast it off of like Mutavault, and I think that's relevant. But you play enough, and it's not even that. Like sometimes you just want Deprive to counter a Temur Battle Rage. Sometimes you want a Deprive just to counter an Anger of the Gods. And if your opponent has 6 mana up, they just pay for it. So it's not actually a hard counter. So in all the games that go long, like Deprive is still live if you top deck it on turn 13, but not Mana Leak. So good question. Very good question. And I would just my answer is just experience tells me Mana Leak loses in a lot of situations. Shamus says 2020 is the year of Nikachu MTG. Yes, it will be the year of Nikachu MTG. We are streaming in ways that have never been streamed before. This is going to be a very exciting year for Nikachu MTG. Endgame says, screw it, we'll do it live. We did go live. Are pants required to be on the video? Well, no, if so long as everything else is covered. And then regarding the live stream, this is so cool. I agree, it is cool. Stefan says, doesn't support Safari. Really? Hey, come back. That's really? No way. I almost don't believe it. That sucks. So I guess you got to be on Chrome or Firefox or something like that. Endgame, Nikachu, live coaching streams. Absolutely. So we'll definitely do more of those live coaching streams in the future as part of like the second half of our show Very exciting thing. Don't remember. Okay. I'll still be here for like another 10 minutes or so. So if any questions, remember 3 question marks before, 3 question marks at the end. I think I'm getting close to the end. Oh no, I'm probably not at the close to the end of the chat. There we go. Joshua Ryan, don't we already have the sideboard wish hate with Draneth Magistrate? If I remember correctly, Draneth Magistrate says, where is it? I think as long as it's in your hand, it's fine. Your opponent can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand. So the problem is that, I mean, if your opponent uses Karn to wish for a card, it gets put in your hand, so Draneth Magistrate actually doesn't do anything about it. Good question, though. So we don't actually have the hate. And also, hey, I have a question. Why isn't Draneth Magistrate like at least a 2/3 creature? When you design these sort of like hate bear-like cards and it's only like a 1-power creature, it's still not really worth playing. You gotta make it at least a decent, a 2-power at least, so you can have a decent clock. 1/3 is basically, you might as well make it an enchantment. 1 power is not good enough these days, in my opinion. Hoonster Meow, yes, you can post more questions in the chat. We are back because I ran out of guests. But thank you very much to all the guests that showed up today. And as people get used to this, we'll probably have more guests on a regular basis. Of course, Merfolk community is devoted. After all, best mechanic to devotion is devotion to blue, not devotion to red. That's not as good of a mechanic. Devotion to blue is the mechanic. Ben Mason said, love the stream. Yes, it is a beautiful stream. And for that, it's time to take a nice, delicious sip of my Nescafe Gold Dark Roast. With the official Nikachu MTG cup, which I've redesigned. I've actually redesigned the cup without the Nikachu MTG at the bottom. It's just the logo. I think it looks cleaner. It looks better. It's awesome. Last yes, is it cam now or still chat questions? Yeah, we absolutely can ask questions. I'm looking for them. I guess people will get used to, have to get used to this new format. Here we go. I found the questions. I think I'm at the bottom. Piotr asks, would you play a Curse Catcher for its ability? Not today. Curse Catcher now just blows. It sucks. Curse Catcher is not good. The deal with Curse Catcher is that it doesn't counter anything. Like that's the problem. Curse Catcher is just a card that literally doesn't counter anything at all anymore. Curse Catcher, sacrifice Curse Catcher, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1. All right. So how do I counter? How do I counter Stoneforge Mystic? How do I counter Teferi, Time Reveler, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Uro, Ice Fang Quaddle, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria? So the problem with artifacts like Batter's Skull. So the problem with Curse Catcher, it doesn't actually counter any relevant spells today. It actually counters very few things, and the things that it can counter are really mana efficient. Like, what am I going to counter? Fatal Push? So it's so easy to play around. You just play your instants and sorceries main phase before you play your creature so that you have your mana held up. So Curse Catcher these days is not really that good. And it keeps getting worse as the creatures get better and as the instants and sorceries get cheaper. So unfortunately, Curse Catcher, I don't think it's super worth it. There is definitely a meta where it's good. Like, I still think this card is good against Burn. I still think this card is good against Neoform. So there can be a metagame for Curse Catcher, but it's a very narrow metagame. Probably the metagame right now is the best metagame you could probably have for Curse Catcher, in my opinion. What do we got next? The Robin. What decks in Modern do you think need help or need innovation to be playable in today's Modern metagame? Basically anything under tier 2. Okay, let's take a quick look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Take all my cookies. Ugh. It's not easy to see this. Control plus plus plus. Let's get to the. Let's see. Very close. All right. Red Deck Wins is doing good. Eldrazi Aggro is doing good. Death Shout is doing good. Hardened Scales is doing. Hardened Scales is a deck that was 0%. And yes, I understand it got Loris recently, but they innovated. They now play with the Ozolith. They play. Oh, I'm not going to go look at it. This is awkward. They now play with the Ozolith right now. So that is a deck that is doing very well because it has innovated. Or at least it got a new printing. When I say innovation, I sort of mean like the card exists already. They just need to make the change. Bogles is doing good. So mono white probably needs some sort of innovation to be available today. Like Death and Taxes, I think definitely can compete in today's metagame, but they are the ones who definitely need to change their deck. Merfolk, we're at 1%. Yes! Still there. Same thing with Spirits. Spirits, I think, definitely has the tools to compete today, especially since they have Drug Skull Captain. I mean, that's a very good card in right now to give hexproof to all your creatures and maybe to have like Drug Skull Captain and Phantasmal Image. Well, I don't know. I don't like Phantasmal Image in the blue-white version, and I don't really want to play Bant, to be honest. But Spirits probably has what it takes. So Tron is healthy. Scapeshift is relatively healthy. I think Blue-Eyed Control is okay. Blue-Eyed Control. So Blue-Eyed Control has been completely outclassed by Bant Control. Oh, sorry. Here, Blue-Eyed Control has been completely outclassed right now. But it's finding the innovation. Like, has everyone heard about the new counterbalance Mystic Sanctuary tech? Like, there's this new tech with like counterbalance and Mystic Sanctuary. Let's go Scryfall. Counterbalance. So now the Blue-White Control decks are running Counterbalance because they can. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card. But how do you manipulate the top of your deck? Well, with a card that was just printed back in October, Mystic Sanctuary? I can't remember if it's Mystic Sanctuary or Mystical Sanctuary. Here we go. So you fetch this thing. So your opponent plays a 2-drop. You fetch this thing and then put like a mana leak on top of your deck and then it counters it. What value? That is great value. And you can fetch into this. So you can just play a counterspell. You can just play any fetch lands in order to get this effect. It's really, really strong effect. So, and I think we are seeing that. I don't know if these decks have taken over yet. Obviously they haven't. They're still on their way. But they are getting results right now. They are getting results. MTG top 8 like misses all sorts of results. Probably Dredge can't do anything if there's too much hate. Ad Nauseam is in good shape. Is Infect's probably getting really screwed right now. But do you know what? I bet they could innovate a little bit. I bet they could play more of that Wild Defiance card. And then if anything gets targeted, it gets bigger. So I think they could innovate a little bit to get a higher win percentage. Turn 1 Noble Hierarchy, turn 2 Wild Defiance, and then try to kill their opponent. Mill needs help. I think there's something there, but it needs help, definitely. Elves probably is just screwed in today's meta game. And Storm is in trouble. So those, I think, are my picks. Like, Blue-White Control and Death and Taxes and Spirits are definitely decks that could make the right adjustments to become something in today's modern metagame. Heidevolk Lagu says, would you invite M. Hayashi and other masters like Draconar and Lepip on your Twitch? Absolutely. Absolutely. This opens the door to so many possibilities that we never had before. Isn't this cool? And I hope to, maybe we're going to bring back Masters Monday like this. And you can even ask the master live questions. Instead of just me asking the standard questions, we then have the Q&A with everyone else asking questions about, what you think about the deck. So if I bring on an Ad Nauseam master, you could ask questions about Ad Nauseam. I think that's very neat. I think that's very interesting. This is very, very cool. Andre asked, do you have another pet? I have 2 cats. So we saw Salud earlier, and I also have Chubby Meatball, but I don't have any other pets other than that. Hubi Majin, do you think a Knights deck can join the meta right now? I think anything is possible. I made a Vampire deck where there was no Vampire deck in existence. I think it was 10 cards off or 12 cards off from the optimal build, and I still did pretty damn well with it. I almost went 4-1 with it in a league. And the point is, there's so much room to innovate, but it all just comes down to you wanting to take the time in order to improve the... Someone's got to decide, I'm making Knights. Let's look up every damn Knight in existence. Let's find the best mana base for this Knight deck. Let's see some good tech from the Knights that no other deck can play. Let's make it happen. I think it's possible, but it always requires the right artist and competitor to make it a competitive deck. Because that's the thing that's missing. Anyone can make a deck, but it needs like a good player to build the thing because they know what fulfills the needs for the metagame and also can make the right adjustments as they win and lose through trial and error. Hoonster Meow. Merfolks were traditionally blue. Now there are white Merfolks, black Merfolks, and green Merfolks. How would you design a mono-red Merfolk? Give it haste. Give it maybe some sacrifice ability, deal 2 damage to something. That's definitely what I would do. I think that's how it would work. Some Merfolk Elemental, Merfolk Goblin. Or I don't know if goblins deal damage. Yeah, Grenade Merfolk. So it's like a 2/2 creature, and I can sacrifice it, deal 2 damage to like target creature or player. Niels Nielsen, what is your paper collection looking like, and do you have any other modern deck other than Merfolk? I only have Merfolk. I have a good chunk of like reserve list lands for Legacy because I bought into Legacy back in 2014ish, 2013, 2014, because I was pretty like I saw the graphs, they were just going up, and I decided I don't know what I'm going to play in Legacy, but I better invest in these lands. So I got basically I have a playset of all the blue lands, and then a good chunk of all the other lands because I didn't know what I was going to get into, and then I have a fair chunk of just other random cards, but mostly my collection is a Merfolk toolbox. Sly Powered says, hey, just tuned in. Setup looks amazing. Yes, this is fucking amazing. This is awesome. So if you're just listening to it, that's great. But if you're watching this, this is awesome. This is just amazing. Tobias Markert says, this is more of a thought, but can you probably turn off or make autofocus super minimal since normally you will be at the same distance? I could look into that, but I don't know if I can. Probably I can do this. I'll thank you very much for asking. I'll try to do that. I think it's annoying that it keeps switching the focus over and over again. That's totally fair. And the webcam is. I remember on my Mac I tried to fix that, but I didn't have control on a Mac. But on Windows I probably have control. There's probably like some sort of Logitech C920 webcam software I can download, and I can just make sure to turn off autofocus. Really good idea. Thank you very much for the comment. Andre says, are you looking forward to win another big tournament? Yes, I'm looking also forward to just getting back into playing Magic. I just got my computer a few days ago, and I've been trying to set it up to make sure I can do cool things and get back to getting the content back on a regular basis. So yeah. And but I will get into streaming and getting back into tournaments very, very quickly. Ben Guy-Doris, how much do you think a new 2-mana Lord would help Spirits? A lot. The first 2-mana Lord helped a lot. Like, Spirits, unplayable without the 2-mana Lord. Spirits with 2-mana Lord, super playable. Now, I don't know how many more 2-mana Lords they want, but certainly at least 3. Just like Merfolk, like you want a certain density of Lords to help push through damage. You can't be all Lords. Like beyond 12, very rarely you'll want more than 12 Lords in your deck. Very rarely. I think only once in the history of me playing Merfolk, I wanted more than 12 Lords, and I had to kick out Silvergill Adept to do it. For the most part, you don't want more than that. But you do want a certain chunk of Lords so that you can help push through damage to win the game. So I think another 2-mana Lord would help Spirits a lot, a ton. Let's see, where am I? Sly Powered, any new news from Nescafe about the sponsorship? Yes, they DM'd me, and they gave me the email to the you know, to the people who handle sponsorships at Nescafe. So, I mean, at the very least, I'm going to ask for unlimited coffee, but I don't know if I should ask for anything more. Yeah, I will, definitely. So I've got to think, I got to make my proposal. And I've already been collecting like screenshots of people that are like, because of the show, I'm going to try out Nescafe. Yes, do try out Nescafe. It will help me build more evidence for a good sponsorship from Nescafe. Would love it. And you know what? I wouldn't mind. I drink this stuff anyway. You know, I used to drink like drip coffee, you know, brewed coffee at home. But you know what? Like, I'm tired of grinding the coffee beans. I'm tired of putting in the filter when this tastes basically just as good. At least as the stuff I had. I'm not going to claim that this is the best coffee in the world, but damn it, for my home, for like what I want to do, what I want to drink in the morning, it's really good. It's really good. The Nescafe Gold Dark Roast. Shamus Crawford, how do you take your coffee? I take 2 large teaspoons of this, 2 large teaspoons, in this size of a cup compared to my head. So it's just like a, you know, small. I don't know the ounces of this thing, and a little bit of milk. I used to put a lot of sugar in my coffee, but I'm cutting back sugar. Oh, I hear my brother. Hold on, let me go let him in. Give me. We're not done the stream yet. We're not done the stream. I'll be back. Hello, Mary. Come on. Now that I think about it, why do I have the headphones on? They're completely unnecessary. I don't need the headphones. All right, my brother's here. And Sandro Koch says, which keyboard have you chosen? I have chosen I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but this keyboard is the right keyboard for me. I have chosen, I can't lift it up very well. Damn it. It's like this. Okay, what can I show here? I've chosen the Corsair. The Corsair K55. It's not a mechanical keyboard. It is a membrane keyboard. However, it is awesome. It's got 6 programmable keys. Let me tell you, I got a mechanical keyboard. Okay, I sent it back for 2 reasons. The first reason is that I ordered brown switches. The box said brown switches, but the switches were actually gray. And I'm like, because I was like, aren't I supposed to feel some sort of tactile feedback? And then I didn't, and I took the switch, I took the key off, and like, it's gray. What the hell? What is going on here? So that was one reason I took it back. But the second reason, it was really loud. It was super loud. Click, 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 click. Not only that, it had this aluminum frame, and when I pushed the key down, I could hear this dong, dong, click, dong. So I'm like, this is ridiculously loud. My girlfriend is like, that is too noisy. And you know what? I agree. I was done with it. Whoa, 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 careful. Hold on. You want to sit down? Because this is super wide.
How long is this going to be going on for?
Another 5-ish minutes, 10 minutes. You can survive. Hey, close the door. Hide my brother's identity. Yeah, anyway, the keyboard's like plastic membrane keyboard, so it doesn't make any noise. Super soft and quiet. Let me tell you, if you're a streamer or you're a YouTuber, you want this keyboard. You don't want to piss off your audience with these keyboard noises. Some people like the noises, but you're turning away like 50% of your audience when they like hearing all these keyboard noises and they're like, screw this, I'm getting out of here. So that's my advice to people. Now, I understand I have RTX voice, but we even find out right now, RTX voice is not good apparently for live stream, so we have to tell RTX voice to screw off. For recordings, I guess it's good. Or I don't know what the issue is with RTX voice, but it just doesn't work with the streaming platform. So I have to turn it off, and you're going to hear this clicking and clacking. It's not good. It's not the auditory experience is very, very important. All right. So with that, let's get on 3 more questions. Smirk McFlurkin, have you noticed less hate for companions since bannings, or is the meta adjusting? No, there's tons of hate. I mean, really, there isn't any good way to hate the companions, and really what it's coming down to is now people are just playing blazingly fast decks. The best deck right now is red black prowess. Very powerful deck. I can't, but my opinion might not be very strong because I haven't thrown myself back into the leagues. I just started playing like a little while ago as I've been setting up my computer for the content. But as I play more, I will find out. But for the most part, like the meta is adjusted, but it's still like a ton of companion decks. The Robin asks, what decks do you think in Modern need new innovation or new tools to compete in today's Modern metagame? I think I answered that question, so we don't have to go back. Yeskinia says, why such little love for Deeproot Champion? It's your Merfolk Sprite Dragon. No? Well, it doesn't have haste. It doesn't have evasion, so it's missing a lot of things, and it's really slow. Like with Sprite Dragon, you can play things like Gut Shot and stuff. There are some free spells that you can help cheat and get a lot of counters on this thing. But like Deeproot Champion is, you need this effect on turn 1 because by turn 2 you don't have the time to be playing something like this. It's just ridiculous. Krishna says, holy, you are still streaming? Yes, I'm still streaming. I'm excited. I got like new toys to play with. Look how cool this stuff is. Goldfish is the visual. Nice one. Yes, it is all very, very nice. All right, our last question. Antonin Janku. Do you think budget decks can compete in Modern? Yes, in general they can. Like, not at a competitive level, of course. So if you try to go to a GP or you're trying to play a PTQ or like Modern Challenge, it's not going to work. You're going to get crushed by the better decks. But at your FNM and leagues, absolutely, you can play with budget decks and still grind ticks and stuff like that. Like for the entire history of this channel, I put up at least a 3-2 in all my budget lists, except for the recent one with companions. But I screwed up my list. I could fit in Chalice of the Void. I could budget for that for sure because Chalice of the Void is cheap enough. But for the most part, yeah, budget decks can compete at a non-competitive, like a non-lethal competitive level. They usually, as long as you have the core cards, it can work. It can work, and you can make up the difference by either playing well, or just making sure your budget deck still has the core cards in it. All right, so that's going to be it for today's stream. This was awesome. Remember, just let everyone know, twitch.tv. Don't forget, twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. That's where you can find me on Monday. That's when we're going to do it. And remember, the show is going to always be on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time for now. I have no plans on changing this until like school tells me I can't do it at any other time. Also, don't forget, if you get your own Nikachu MTG cup, you can find this at teespring.com/stores with the S /Nikachu MTG. And get yourself your own official Nikachu MTG cup. And I've redesigned the thing without Nikachu MTG on it. It's nice clean bunny on it on the front and the back. Previous versions did not have anything on the back. Wah, wah. So like the new cups are beautiful and gorgeous. The official coffee and MTG cup or whatever. So you can find all that stuff there. But remember, we are moving to Twitch. Twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. Is it just me or is it desynchronized at the end? I hope not. Had the same issue. Reloading the stream helped. Interesting. So maybe when I'm using the banners, there's some problems. Maybe that's the issue. Banners create problems. Maybe if I have the paid version, I don't have nearly as many problems. But just let me know. It's good. It's good to know if these issues are happening. But frankly, the service is cool. I'm still going to use OBS for like gameplay purposes, but for this is awesome. Look at this. You want to see this? You want to see the card I'm looking at? Boom. We can do that. It's really rigid with what I can do, but the things that it does really well. Is it just me or is it desynchronized? But we can do stuff like this. So if you have any problem, had the same issue, reloaded the stream, helped. Beautiful. I love it. And I love all of you joining me today. So, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Nikachu Merfolk Master, enjoying a cup of coffee with all of you. See you next time.